Alright, what up world? Hemingway checking in, and I am still at it. Y'all already know the drill. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube page, ring the notification bell so you'll get all the notifications for my videos I have coming out later this week. And we're gonna go ahead and get into this thing. So, the topic of today is independent artists. Majorly independent is probably what I'm going to title this video, and the topic of just the scene and just the size of independent artists coming out over the last few years. That whole category has been growing, and you've also been seeing now a lot of major artists that have been completing their deals, and either for short periods of time or for extended periods of time have been staying independent and just doing everything out of pocket themselves, establishing their own flow as their own entity. And basically the question of the day is, do you think that this is the best time like ever for independent artists? I kind of feel like it is, and I want to know what you think. Make sure y'all go ahead and answer that question down in the comments. You can pause, take a little second, but I want to know, do you think this is the best time ever for independent art to be an independent artist, like in the history of music? I think it is. Tell me what you think and why in the comments. Now, what made me want to talk about this topic overall was like, okay, the music industry videos that I've done about just like rap sales being down and it getting to a point to where just the industry itself, I feel like, is going through another transition of not only sound to a degree, but just the way business, and ever since streaming hit, it's just like the way business has been going every 3 to 4 years. It's always a little something that changes, you know what I'm saying? And I think we're going through another phase of that. And I think that a lot of artists that are major artists that are completing their contracts, they're getting to a point to where like, shit, we're seeing some of these smaller independent artists that they might know or might collaborate with or might work with behind the scenes. We seeing them getting some motion and, you know, getting going and doing their thing, and they ain't really got to deal with the contractual agreements and all the stipulations of an actual major label. So for instance, EYL, they announced that Usher stated in an interview, I'm not sure what interview it was, but I did see this on the EYL page, and I'm still trying to figure out. I was trying to look back to see if he said it in an interview. He announced him saying he's going to be performing at the Super Bowl, but since we know that, I've now found out that he's going to be independent artist technically when he performs at the Super Bowl. And that's dope. That's actually crazy, because from what's being said, there's never been an independent artist that's performed at the Super Bowl. Usually you going to have some type of, you're going to have to be tied into somebody's business in order to get in front of the Super Bowl, or get on the Super Bowl stage. That's just pretty much how that goes. So that's a big deal, and it's actually pretty dope. But with him finishing out his deal, I don't know if he's already done with it or if he's about to be finished with it, but that's just gonna put him in a position to where even he could, you know, whatever his price is, it could go up, it could go down, whatever. I doubt if it goes down. It could go up, it could stay the same, but he's going to see a little bit more of that. Now, with everything else he does going forward, he's gonna have to put more money out directly out of his pocket, but he's gonna see more of it for the most part up front, as long as he continues to be Usher and handle his business as he has been. Also, Megan Thee Stallion currently has finished her deal. I think she was it? I know she was like managed by Roc Nation, but was it Atlantic? I don't remember exactly who her major label was, but the major label she was signed to through her indie label, which was 1501, she's done with the major label deal, and I think she still got some contractual agreements with 1501. So now she's dropping her next project technically independent, because 1501 is still an independent label, and she's outside of, you know, contractual shit. She's basically an independent artist herself. I don't think the majors want to get too much into it until she figures that out. So she's even stating that she's dropping her next project herself out of pocket. And what that does is it gets it to a point to where, okay, the margin or the category of independent artists, there's going to be a higher tier and a higher quality of artists that are technically in that category now. So it gets a different look there. I feel like it's going to be good for artists, but it can also be, it's going to make it better for artists, but it can make it harder for artists too, because it's going to raise the bar, which means, you're going to have to make sure that level of quality and shit like that, to a degree, is going to slowly start to be better than what people imagine it to be. And, the visuals, what they imagine it to be. So there's that, but then, it's also going to be chances to get more money versus what it might have been before to make a play as an independent artist, with certain superstars becoming independent artists. And if they're actually staying artists in indie for a longer time, those fees might go up, instead of what it was prior to the Ushers and the Megan Thee Stallions. And you even have, of course, Russ has been independent now back independent again for like the last 3 years. Jordan Lucas is one who was signed and then went back independent. It's some R&B artists doing the same thing. I think Tink right now, I think she's one of the big distribution companies, Empire or something like that. But like, it's a lot of really talented people in the independent market, and I think it's going to have its pros and cons, but overall be better for artists like myself. And as long as you have your quality sonics, quality visuals, and you understand your story and your message, and then how you're going to try to go about your content, you should be all right for the most part. I've had my struggles with all of this, and I'm actually do a separate video about this, but like, I'm one of those people who invested a lot more time than I have money when I look at it in retrospect. And now I'm at a point where I'm definitely ready to invest more money to get to the next level, but I've already invested so much time. It's just the way it worked for me. That's just how it just went.
Power off.
That's crazy. But that's just the way it went for me. And now I'm ready to do it, the opposite way. But I've learned a lot, and I've always wanted to be one of those people who kind of understood every position in the music and entertainment shit, visually, musically, shit like that. So I think overall though, it's definitely gonna make it better for independent artists. It's gonna be more money, and the industry as it transitions, it's crazy, because it's like, it's really only 3 labels anyway right now. You got the big 3. You got Sony, Warner, and Sony, Warner, and Universal. And then they own all the other labels and distribution companies or whatever that we hear about. The Atlantics, you got TDE, which is signed to Interscope and all those like labels. They all up under those big 3. And then even now, technically, Drake, the Apple deal is not, that's not really a label deal directly. If I'm not mistaken, I think Universal / Cash Money, they still have some parts of that. But once that deal's up, like, everybody's, already spoken about like what would happen if somebody like Drake was independent for a short period of time. It's crazy, but it becomes similar to sports. Like when you have free agents and bidding wars and stuff like that, like some of that can happen to a degree. That's not gonna happen for the small guys, but just like it changes the culture of being an independent artist. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Give me y'all opinions about how you feel about some of these major artists and superstars becoming and staying independent, and what you think that's gonna do for the independent community. And just give me some feedback on these videos, man. We still got these rocking, and I'm also gonna start dropping some behind the scenes content, or just not behind the scenes, but whatever, just video content of me creating and cooking up my music as well. I'm gonna start releasing singles again next month. So until next time, I go by the name of Hemingway. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the page. I'm out.